Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And we gotta redo this video because I lost the video. Can't find it. We did a video on the Minnesota Vikings. We did a video on the Green Bay Packers. And we did a video on the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions video was supposed to come out on Sunday. The Vikings video was supposed to come out on Saturday. That was the idea. And I went to look for the video, couldn't find it on Saturday. I went to look for the video on Sunday, couldn't find it. I don't know where it went, so we gotta record it again. It's that simple. So my point is, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, because we're doing a video again. I think this relationship is very great. I think it's positive. Let's go into this Minnesota Vikings video. So, as part of our NFL Dream Series, we go through every team. We say, can they make the playoffs? Can they make the Super Bowl? Can they live the NFL dream? For the Minnesota Vikings, they had an awesome season in 2024. And they got so much better on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we are still a little shaky, but defensively, it's a lot of great things. Jonathan Allen, they brought in. Multi-year deal. A guy who he tore his pectoral muscle last year. Came back. That was the impressive thing. He came back in that season, still played very well. Then they go and they bring in Javon Hargrave, who also coming off an injury for missed the whole year. When those two guys are healthy, they are monsters. They are hard to stop. And the thing is, I can't speak for Javon Hargrave, but I can speak for Jonathan Allen. He can do so much. He can play one technique. He can play three techniques. Javon Hargrave, his style, what he does very well, is more in line to what Jonathan Allen can do very well. So those things are going to work very well together with Brian Flores. They also brought in Will Fries, the guard from the Indianapolis Colts. Let me try to get the other one name right here. Let me see if I can find it. Ryan Kelly, also from the Colts. Thank you. I found it. Both are excellent gunner and very much starters. That's going to benefit your team so heavily in the future. That's what you need. That's what you got to do. This team needed to get better. They got better on the offensive line side. We will get into more of what they need to do as well with Christian Darrisaw coming back. Rondale Moore, he signs as a free agent. You know, okay. It's not a big name, but okay. Byron Murphy comes back. There was a question of if he was going to leave in free agency. I'm sorry if this thing is clicking like crazy, but I got notifications coming out. So Byron Murphy was going to leave for free agency because him what he wanted. And I don't blame the player. I say this all the time. When a player goes for their money, go get your money. Sport to play. It's not easy. You don't play for a very long time. You need to go get your money. I'm going to move this a little closer. You need to go get your money. That's what he did. That is exactly what he did. Or what he was trying to do. And then he left. The Vikings would say, hold on, wait a minute. We can get you that money. We can get it. And he says, okay, then I'll come back. And he came back, which helps out Brian Flores a lot. They also brought back Aaron Jones. Helps them out a lot. 2 years deal, $20 million. When healthy, he's a monster. Keep him around. Jordan Mason brought him in. They traded for him from the 49ers. So you say, yeah, we'll take you from 49ers. Not a big deal. Boom, here we go. Jeff Okudah. Okay, sure, maybe. he's been floating around there. He's all over the place because it's not a great option. They brought in Isaiah Rodgers, formerly of the Eagles last year, played with the Colts. He signed a 2-year deal. Theo Jackson, they brought him in, 2-year deal. I believe it's pronounced a 1-year deal. Eric Wilson, the former Viking who went to Green Bay, now is back. Justin School, former Panther. Tim Jones, wide receiver. Mostly a special teamer guy, but has been able to do other things, but special teams is really what he's good at. Ryan White, 1-year deal extensions. That's all they did there. So there you go. That's a good move by them. You can see the free agency that they went through, how they benefited their team in a proper way. That's what is important. Draft picks, they had Donovan Jackson in round 1 from Ohio State. Ty Felton from Maryland in round 3. They didn't have a round 2. They didn't have a round 3. They traded up. They didn't have a round 5. That's Tyron Ingram Dawkins. That was also a trade with the Cleveland Browns. Round 6, Kobe King, that was also a trade with the Rams, and then also in round 6, acquired from the Texans and the Rams, so this was all connected somehow. Gavin Bartholomew from Pittsburgh. So you can see just even in their draft picks what they were trying to accomplish. Multiple offensive guys. And then they go defensive line and linebacker. That's what they're trying to accomplish. Trying to build this team up as much as you can. They did lose some pieces. Like, there were some pieces on this team. Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones. They ended up bringing in a couple other pieces, but not really. I don't know why they listed it here. They listed that Devon Hargrave and Jeff Okudah left, but that's not what happened. Harrison Phillips, they just traded last week to the New York Jets, a move that was going to help out on salary cap space, so that's why you did it. Looking at the standings for the Vikings, they were 14-3. They won 82.4% of their games. They lost the last one, obviously. They lost the final game of the regular season because that was the game against the Lions, which they were battling for that division. No one thought that was going to happen last year. Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback because J.J. McCarthy gets hurt. You don't have another guy, and you're saying, oh my gosh, the season's over. Good. It's over before we start. How are we going to win? It's going to be a rebuild year, over and over and over again. It's the woe is me tactic as everyone goes through. And yet they start winning games. And that's why Kevin O'Connell won Coach of the Year last year. He was so able and had the ability to go and take every team, every quarterback on that team and make it work. And he has. It wasn't just with Kirk Cousins. It wasn't just with trying to make it work with J.J. McCarthy. It was, let's figure this out and let's get it all done completely. And they got Sam Darnold, and he made Sam Darnold look awesome. It's not easy to do. Now he's got to find a way to do that with J.J. McCarthy. Can he do it? Yes, I think he can. Because the backup quarterbacks are not great options. For an example, they just traded, as we record this, yesterday they traded Sam Darnold. They traded Sam Darnold. They got rid of Sam Darnold. They brought in Sam Howell when they traded for him during the draft. They just traded him away. I'm going to say Sam Darnold again. Sam Howell was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and they signed Carson Wentz. That is what happened. That was a good move on their part. I think not so much of the Carson Wentz move, but to get a pick for Sam Howell. You like what you saw in that situation. I think it's going to be good. I really do. And I can't wait to see what happens. Looking at their schedule for 2025, it's not a schedule. Like, it's how the scheduling system works is they schedule you based off who's second in the standings the previous year. That's how they schedule you. Their first couple games are at Chicago on Monday night, home for Atlanta, home for Cincinnati, home for Pittsburgh, but that game is an international game. They also have an international game the following week against Cleveland, which they're also considered the home team for whatever reason. They are considered in some way. It's the international game, so the considerations are a little different. So I don't, you can't see this. I won't be able to show you it, but how you can figure out who's at home, who is away is typically at or versus. At is over there, versus is you're playing at home. Across the pond, it's not so much that concise. So one of those games they are home and the other one is not. So it's a little confusing. But both of them are international games. Then you have an early bye week. Again, I've said this before and I'll say it again and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I don't like the benefits of having an early bye week. To me, having an early bye week in mid-October is not great. It's not great. I don't like it. It doesn't benefit the team at all. It makes them have to play a long stretch, which they're going to get very banged up because it always happens. It's football. You're going to get banged up. That's what's going on. So I don't like it. I really, really, really don't like it. But then they come back on that bye week, home for Philadelphia, at the Chargers on a Thursday night game, at Detroit. That's a tough game. Really, they have a really tough 3-game stretch. And then they home for Baltimore. So then that's a 4-game stretch that's very difficult. Home for Chicago, which that's a rivalry game, and I think Chicago is going to be way better this year. And they're at Green Bay. That's tough. At Seattle, which has their own challenges. Home for Washington. At Dallas. So you don't really get a break. Then you get the Giants. You're at the Giants. You're home for Detroit. And then you're home for Green Bay at the end of the year. Those are tough games. From week 7 onwards, and you can make an argument, week 7 through the rest of the year are very tough for the Vikings. Including coming back from the bye week and going Philadelphia, Chargers, Detroit, Baltimore, and 2 of those games at Chargers and at the Lions are very tough. I don't care. That's not exactly a good thing to have, and let's see what happens. But I think they're good. They're not going to be what they were last year. Okay, don't anticipate them being last year. I really am curious to see what JJ McCarthy looks like in the regular season. They won 14 games last year. I don't see them doing that. I think they're going to be really good. But I got them going 12-5, 11-6. That's my range for them. Because I'm concerned about this offense. There's things JJ McCarthy just doesn't know because he hasn't played a lot. I mean, think about it. He's played preseason games, but that's it. Regular season, he has not played a snap yet. So let's see what happens. And because their first game is at Chicago, expect a lot of blitzes. Expect a lot of blitzes. In my opinion, that's the best benefit for him is to learn how to make plays off the blitzes. So expect Chicago to try to blitz him. confuse him, and do everything they can to just make him like, what am I supposed to do? I have never seen this coverage before. I have never seen this kind of pressure before. And now all of a sudden I'm getting blitzed to from every direction. I can't see what's happening. I'm throwing picks. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You want the inexperienced play from, if you're not a Vikings fan, if you're the opposing team, you want inexperienced play by their quarterback. That's what you want. And I can see that's what they're going to try to get. And we're going to see that game on Monday night, which is really exciting. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think the record of the Vikings will be, and how good will the Minnesota Vikings be? Will they have a 14-plus win season again, or will it be less? For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hubert.